Jana Krishna is the lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is the lover of the cowherd maidens of Braj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son and mother of Yasoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Braj. He wanders in the forest along the banks of the river Jamuna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya. Dharam Shravanarottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jamudiraya. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna. Punyashravana Kirtanaha. Hridyantasto Yabhadrani. Vidunati Saritsatam. Nastapareshu Badreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavatam Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. The last verse is very encouraging to us, especially coming to class. And thank everybody for coming to class. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all of his troubled sins of the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise of transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the second canto, 5th chapter, and it's the 14th verse today, isn't it? 14th. Please repeat. Dravyam karma cha kalas cha. Dravyam karma cha kalas cha. Dravyam karma cha kalas cha. Swabhavo jiva eva cha. Swabhavo jiva eva cha. Swabhavo jiva eva cha. Vasudeva Haro Brahman.
Brahman.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Na. Kanyo.
Chanyo.
Vrito.
Vrito.
Sti.
Sti.
Tatvataha.
Tatvataha.
So it's, I think somebody will say cha for, is it Kanyo or Chani?
Chanyo. A C is always cha.
Always gonna be cha, okay, see, I'm such a neophyte. Na Chanyo Vito Sti Tatvataha. Na Chanyo Vito Sti Tatvataha. Dravyam Karma Chakalascha. Svabhavo Jiva Eva Cha. Vasudeva Paro Brahman. Acharyo Ritosti Tatvataha.
Dravyam Kama Chakalascha. Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Achanyo Koti Tatvataha.
Nachanyo Vito.
Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha. Vasudeva Paro Brahman. Nachanyo Vito.
Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Nachanyo Ritosti Tatvataha.
Nachanyo Vito.
Dravyam Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Nachanyo Ritosti Tatvataha.
Nachanyo Vito.
Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Vasudeva Paro Brahman.
Nachanyo Kritusti Tatvata.
Nachanyo Vito.
Dravyam Karma Chakalascha.
Swabhavo Jiva Eva Cha. Vasudeva Paro Brahman. Nachanyo Vito.
Dravyam.
Dravyam.
The ingredients.
The ingredients.
Earth, water,
Earth, water,
fire, water, and sky.
fire, air, and sky.
I'm sorry. Fire, air, and sky.
Fire, air, and sky.
Karma.
Karma.
The interaction.
The interaction.
Cha.
Cha.
And.
And.
Kalaha.
Kalaha.
Eternal time.
Eternal time.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Swa.
Swa.
Bhavaha.
Bhavaha.
Intuition or nature.
Intuition of nature.
Jivaha.
Jiva.
The living being.
The living being.
Eva.
Eva.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Cha.
Cha.
And.
And.
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
From Vasudev.
From Vasudeva.
Paraha.
Paraha.
Differentiated parts.
Differentiated parts.
Brahman.
Brahma.
Oh Brahman.
O Brahma.
Na.
Na.
Never.
Never.
Cha, also. Anyaha,
Anyaha,
separate.
separate.
Artaha,
Artaha,
value.
value.
Asti,
Asti,
there is.
there is.
Tatvataha,
Tatvataha,
in truth.
In truth.
Please repeat. Translation. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation,
the 5 elementary ingredients of creation,
the interaction thereof,
the interaction thereof,
set up by eternal time,
set up by eternal time,
and the intuition
and the intuition
or nature of the individual living being
or nature of the
Individual living being.
are all differentiated parts
are all differentiated parts
and parcels
and parcels
of the personality of
of
Godhead,
the personality of God.
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
And in truth,
And in truth,
there is no other value in them.
there is no other value in them.
I'll read that again. Translation. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set up by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. And in truth, there is no other value in them. Purport Vice Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This phenomenal world is impersonally the representation of Vasudeva, because the ingredients of its creation, their interaction, and the enjoyer of the resultant action, the living being, are all produced by the external and internal energies of Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, texts 4 and 5. The ingredients, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, as well as the conception of material identity, intelligence, and the mind, are produced of the external energy of the Lord. The living entity who enjoys the interaction of the above gross and subtle ingredients as set up by eternal time is an offshoot of the internal potency, with freedom to remain either in the material world or in the spiritual world. In the material world, the living entity is enticed by deluding nescience. But in the spiritual world, he is in the normal condition of spiritual existence without any delusion. The living entity is known as the marginal potency of the Lord. But in all circumstances, neither the material ingredients nor the spiritual parts and parcels are independent of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. For all things, whether products of the external, internal, or marginal potencies of the Lord, are simply displays of the same effulgence of the Lord, just as light, heat, smoke are displays of fire. None of them are separate from the fire. All of them combine together to be called fire. Similarly, all phenomenal manifestations, as well as the effulgence of the body of Vasudeva, are his impersonal features, whereas he eternally exists in his transcendental form called Satchidananda Vigraha, distinct from all conceptions of the material ingredients mentioned above. Translation again. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set up by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. And in truth, there is no other value in them. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. That is such, it sounds beautiful. Sometimes I quote that to the karmis. It sounds beautiful. That's one reason I like to quote it. And then when you tell them what it means, it's like, wow, that's really deep. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And everything that emanates from Him is perfectly, such as this phenomenal world, is perfectly equipped and complete in itself. And even though so many complete units emanate from the complete whole remains the complete balance. So that is a very beautiful verse. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Bhagavad Gita 7, text 4 and 5. Bhumirapo nalovayu kammano buddha evacha ahankara iti mame bina prakatir ashtadha. Earth, water, fire, air, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. In the purport, he says, the science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God in His diverse energies. Material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in His different Purusha incarnations, expansions, as described in Svat Tantra. Quote, for material creation, the Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes 3 Vishnus. The first one, Mahavishnu, creates the total material energy, known as Mahatattva. The second, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, enters into all of the universes to create diversities in each of them. The third, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading supersoul in all the universes, and is known as Paramatma, who is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these 3 Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. I tell people all the time, where do you think they got that term, the God particle? You know what I mean? I'm not saying it came from the Vedas, but it's pretty obvious, you know? It's not like we devotees like to claim, oh yeah, our knowledge is the highest, you know? No, it's Krishna's knowledge. It has nothing to do with me. And this knowledge is your birthright, so we're just trying to give you your birthright. It is the oldest knowledge and most authorized, and it is your birthright. The more we can keep ourselves out of that soul's business, the more they actually like it. If they could just discover it on their own, they would claim it for themselves, and they would claim it like, extend the false ego. Like, I discovered this. They would claim it for themselves. It's really nice. So we can keep ourselves out of the picture by simply saying, I'm simply your humble servant, and I'm simply supposed to repeat the words of ancient knowledge of the Lord and the words of my Gurudev out of love and devotion only, no other motivating factors. And it's already within you anyway, and this is a process of unlocking what's already within you. And the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. If you just read this little book that you have here now, and just read a page or two and see if it speaks to you, you know, just with an open mind. See if this little appetizer appeals to you, then the main course, wait till you get to the main course. Oh, there's so much knowledge. As Jesus said, you are all sons of God. You know, greater works than these shall you do also. I have much yet to tell you, but your ears cannot bear to hear it, because we're envious of the Lord. And then right after that, I like to tell them, you know, chapter 9 in the Bhagavad Gita, the first verse, the Lord says to His pure devotee, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom. Knowing which you should be relieved of all these anxieties in material existence. And who doesn't want to be free from all these anxieties, you know? Just like in The Matrix, which is going to be an older movie now, so I don't know when I can quote The Matrix. But college campuses, they still talk about The Matrix, you know. But, yeah, basically, The Matrix, I gave it a lot of thought. I used to think it was a spiritual world, but it's not. It's the material energy. And it's true that Morpheus is a type of a master for Neo, but it's not technically like his really spiritual master, because he's going to explain, I mean, it could be, but he's explaining the material energy. he explains it, what it is, and how much the souls that are here, the people, are addicted to the material energy, and how it's simply been pulled over our eyes. He says from birth that you've known there's something wrong with this world. Just like a pinprick in your mind driving you mad. You've always known there's something wrong with this world. And so Neo inquires, what is matrix? And Morpheus says, do you want to know what it is? The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in the very room. And he's just talking about material energy. You can see it when you look out of your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to the church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch, a prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. And initiation, that's really what he's offering him. 2 different pills, remain in ignorance or enlightenment. And he pulls, this is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. The blue pill, your story ends. You wake up and you're back in bed and believe whatever you want to believe. The red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I'll show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Then he says, remember, all I'm offering you is the truth. The spiritual master also explains material energy, but he also explains how to get out of it. And he offers the spiritual realm as well. Okay, this is the part I want to talk about material energy just a little bit. They were at the crosswalk, and Morpheus, he's walking across the crosswalk, and Neo, the neophyte, is following behind him. And there's a whole crowd of people coming toward them. And Morpheus easily walks between the people, never gets hit, because he's a spiritual master. And then, of course, Neo is walking behind him, and he gets hit by everybody. It's bewildering. So, Morpheus explains the matrix. The matrix, which is the material world, is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. When you're inside, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inanely, so helplessly dependent upon the system that they will fight to protect it. And then he pauses and says, were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? That would be Maya, of course. Distracted. And Neo says, I was. And then Morpheus says, look again. So he looks back at the woman in red, and she's turned into an agent with a gun at his head. So that's how Maya, that's what she gives us, so. But it's a blessing, because she's a pure devotee, so she's working on behalf of Krishna. She doesn't want to let anyone into Krishna's party without, being qualified. They want to make sure that person, if she lets them into the spiritual realm, which only Krishna can give liberation, that if they make it past her, that they're not going to disrupt Krishna's party, because everyone's there for Krishna on Krishna's birthday party. They're there for him. But if you walk in there and say, wait a minute, it's my birthday, why don't y'all sing? That's not good. You know, you would upset anybody, to tell you the truth. Okay, and now getting back to Bhagavad Gita, the second verse, which would be text 5, that Prabhupada quotes in the purport. Parayam itas tvam tvayam prakritim vihime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam darayet jagat. Besides this inferior nature, O mighty Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. Part of the purport. Here it is clearly mentioned that the living entities belong to the superior nature or energy of the Supreme Lord. The inferior energy is matter manifested in different elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Both forms of material nature, namely gross earth and subtle mind, are products of the inferior energy. The living entities who are exploiting these inferior energies for different purposes are the superior energy of the Supreme Lord, and it is due to this energy that the entire material world functions. The cosmic manifestation has no power to act unless it is moved by the superior energy, the living entity. Energies are always controlled by the energetic, and therefore living entities are always controlled by the Lord. They have no independent existence. They are never equally powerful, as unintelligent men think. And one point to be cleared up is, why did Morpheus say that these people are addicted to this system and they're our enemies? Well, it is very, very, very true. I mean, in a spiritual sense, that a materialist can pretty much damage our spiritual life. We have to be very careful around them not to be contaminated, because they have the material disease. You know, their lust is so vast. I mean, it's everywhere they look. You know, and they can't get free from it because every commercial on TV. I mean, sex sells. That's just reality. And everywhere they look, and all their friends are talking nasty, lusty things. And like I said, all the commercials, even food is advertised in that way. Cars are advertised. You know, if you go to a used car salesman or a car salesman, he'll tell you what him told me when I was at the LA Temple like 30 years ago. I was looking for a car, so I was checking out different cars, and he was riding with me. And we were riding on a sports car. Or was it a Camaro? I think it's a Camaro. And he said, the women will all be looking at you in this car. I was a devotee, you know. It was like, well, that's the last thing I want, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But how would he understand that? It's like I'm speaking French, you know. If I said that, how would he understand? But you never know, because sometimes somebody, tomorrow he may commit suicide. We don't know what he's going through. We really have no idea. I'm constantly surprised. The other day we were in Dillard's. Actually, first time I went to the new Dillard's in the Fremont Town Center. The new Dillard's, Fremont Town Center, before you go into New Orleans. You know, on this side of the bridge, Slidell. Anyway, I wanted to check it out. And Faye was looking for suspenders, and you couldn't find them anywhere, you know. And we found a lot of suspenders there, believe it or not. So anyway, I walked in myself, and all of this perfume hit me. This just nearly knocked me over. But it smelled great, like you're in the Heavenly Planets or something. And then the first lady that approaches me, I just told her, I said, wow, something about, you know, there was a perfume section. I said, it smells great here. I have to remember this entrance next time coming this way. You know? And I said, it's kind of like the Heavenly Planets, you know what I mean? The ladies there smell like this naturally. You won't be able to sell any perfume up there. You know? So I started talking about that. And she just kept listening on and on, you know. And these other ladies who were watching, the sales ladies, I thought, well, I'm going to get her in trouble, I guess. She was from Peru, and she was eating up everything. Because I've met nothing but amazing people from Peru, spiritually enlightened. And she says, they have many spiritual centers around Machu Picchu. And I said, there's a lot of devotees and a lot of favorable people to Krishna consciousness down there. I gave her all the information, everything about here and everything. She wanted to know everything. And I gave her perfection yoga. What's the website? But then I had to end it after a while because the lady looks like she's in charge. She walked up and I thought, okay, time to end it. So you never know. You never know. First person you meet, walk in the store, you never know who might be interested. You know, in the men's department, there's a young man doing sales, and start talking to him. At first, he just did not seem that interested, but at the end, he actually gave me his card. You know, and we gave him our card, and he seemed interested. You just never know. You know, if you hang in there long enough, you know, we don't want to bore them. We want to entertain them. You know, try to talk about them. You know, that's their favorite subject. So, oh, it's already 8:30. Wow. Anybody want to make any comments?
I know this is interesting again. It was said a couple verses ago, 2-3 verses ago, but come from the Brahmajyoti. Everything comes from the Brahmajyoti. So we shouldn't have arguments about this origin. It's all true in different angles of vision. It's not that we were never in the spiritual, but in the spiritual that comes out of Brahmajyoti too, apparently, according to this. So it's funny how devotees argue about, no, soul came from the Brahmajyoti, no, it came from the spiritual world. It's all true.
That's another thing I like to point out. If we're outside talking to somebody and say, you know why the sky's blue? Sometimes I tell them inside, but maybe a sunny, beautiful day, and says, that's the Lord's color, his effulgence. I don't know if I can get through to him with that or not, but you know, it is a beautiful thing to say. You know what I mean? Like you say, it's coming from Krishna. Oh, I'm sorry, shattered up to the camera. Go ahead, Manji.
You know, this application of our philosophy by giving it to others is so important because, as you rightly said, we never know who is ready, who is desperate, who is, you know, waiting. We don't know. And also, another thing is this living entity has the choice to be either in spiritual energy or in the material energy. So all we can do is give them the message, and after that, it's really up to them how far they want to go, how far they want to take it. And that's true of us too, you know. It's like all the knowledge is there, the temple is there, the deities are there, the program is there, but it's up to me. Do I want to come? Do I want to take part in the process? Do I want to, or do I want to think, oh, there's something out there for me? That's really my choice. So,
that's what we were thinking when we were in the spiritual world. We think out there in the material world, maybe there's something out there for me, right?
I want to enjoy other than Krishna's, you know, outside his will. And so then we are put into this condition, and every moment we have that choice to choose Krishna or to choose Maya. It's really up to us. Krishna doesn't interfere with our free will. He's very loving. He says, okay, whatever you like, you do.
Well, you know, you're right, Mataji. I mean, okay, Krishna demands surrender, but Prabhupada brought all these books and then Krishna's pastimes to attract us to surrender, to surrender, you know, to make it worthwhile. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to point out that you were saying about, you know, we never know what is happening in people's lives.
I'm sorry, Mataji. He had his hand up.
Okay.
Sorry.
You know, about this, you know, people paste all these things on social media. Oh, they're smiling on what Bahama Beach or this thing or that thing, and then next thing they've overdosed, they're in hospital. Or what about all those pictures last week? Oh, we were having a good time, so I thought I'll post it. So all those fake smiles and all those pretty girls surrounding them, and then 1 week later they overdosed, they're in hospital. I mean, just see what is happening to the living entity today. You know, they're just carried away by all this external.
And they're bewildered by all of that. They don't know why all this is happening, you know.
Right.
So, what, you know, say something. Did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay.
Right, the red pill, the blue pill,
Yeah.
basically is coming in contact with either the illusory dualities. And 11:28:2 it says, whoever indulges in praising and criticizing the qualities and behaviors of others will quickly become deviated by his own best interest, by his entanglement in illusory dualities, and either criticizing those in Maya that are not doing so well, or praising those who seem to be doing well, But still in mind, when we come in contact with that,
The first thing I like to point out, when these things
you
come
said
up,
that, you saw that.
yeah. So the first thing I like to point out is, first of all, like with Fayette, he gets all wrapped up in his anxieties. That Fayette, first of all, we're in Kali Yuga. What is the definition of Kali Yuga? First of all, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. The age of the cheaters and the cheated. So we're forewarned. Devotees are forewarned, which is a good thing, The Lord's talking to us every day. It's whether we're open to, but I don't like to open up very much about my realizations, who am I, right? But sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you get in trouble if you talk about your own realizations, but sometimes it's okay to open up a little bit. And Mother Mahar, Haridwani?
I was just appreciating what Sri Devi said about the application of Krishna consciousness, because, I'll have to preface this with, I have no realization, so I'm going to say, I heard my Guru Maharaj say that it's really important in presenting Krishna consciousness, and to an experienced preacher, this is probably like just a given, but for me, I thought it was really, worth some food for thought, that you present Krishna consciousness in such a way that they can understand, and that requires, I know you do this, trying to read each person. So you're presenting it in such a way that they can understand, and then that, as Mataji said, that they can apply it in their life, because, what is the benefit? People are they're looking for love, they're looking for appreciation, they're looking for happiness, so they have to be able to appreciate the value of it. So how can this be applied in my life? It just struck me that...
That's beautiful, Mataji. Love, appreciation, and happiness. Who's not looking for that, right? If you were to open up by saying, are you looking for love, appreciation, and happiness? And they say, you got my interest. Ears go like this. But it's so funny, I was smiling when you were talking, Mataji, because yesterday I was sitting in Walmart up there by the money order place, on the bench. And I was just looking at the people, I was looking at all the different people coming through, because that's how we all do as devotees, Can I make a mental connection somehow with these different people? And first thing that came to my mind was, wow, I never really thought about that before. I looked up at the ceiling, thousands of lights, brilliant lights, those little lights, they're so brilliant. And I was thinking, these people are just trudging along, going to pay their groceries every day. They're bored. They take care of their family, their kids are, nagging them, whatever. Mundane stuff. And yet all those lights are above them, which are taken for granted until they go out. And then they don't take them for granted. But I was just thinking like that. I mean, the sun is always shining, and Krishna is always there, even though the clouds come along. And we have to suffer the effects of the clouds being there. But the sun is always shining. Krishna is always there. Anyway, that's why I was smiling when you mentioned that, though. Did somebody have their hand up in the back there? Danny?
No.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry.
To remind me of what Rameshwar Prabhu used to say, he was a really fire-up advocate for Sankirtan rule distribution. So he used to say, take the books anywhere you go. When you go see a movie, when you go to eat at a restaurant, because he knew, that some devotees were still doing those activities. So he said, just take your books and just speak to people. And what Prabhupada instructs us is very simple. He says, you're friendly and you talk about Krishna. So
Be friendly.
Be friendly and talk about
Krishna. Who said that?
Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah,
Be friendly.
So it's very simple.
And talk about Krishna.
It's very simple. And another thing that I wanted to mention is about this Mataji in, I think it's Mazatlan in Mexico. She used to go on Sankirtan, and she was by herself distributing books. So this gentleman was watching her all the time, but she never approached him for some reason, So one time he approached her, and he said, "What are you doing?" So she explained to him and like that. So to make a long story short, he got married with her.
Are you
Long
serious?
story short.
They got married.
And
Wow.
now, of course, she practices Krishna consciousness at home. They are vegetarian, of course, and everything. So miracles can happen.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to say is that I heard this on class the other day, that we don't get the benefits of Krishna consciousness or whatever good come to our lives because of our goodness or qualities. We get it because of Krishna's godliness. It's nothing that we do, but it's because of him giving the mercy, because of his
It's
own-
inconceivable and it's
Inconceivable.
unlimited.
Yeah. So I have heard some devotees saying, "Oh, I was preaching to this person, I was talking, and I didn't know where all those words were coming from." Like, you know, they were.
Oh, they were preaching Krishna consciousness?
Yeah,
And the
they-
words were just coming out.
And they,
Yeah.
you know, and they say, "I should have recorded because
Yeah.
I don't know where all those
You
words
know,
were coming
as
from."
devotees, we have that experience. I've heard Tejas talk about it too. He's telling me, you know, I'm in class, sometimes in class he says, and he says, sometimes I don't know where these words are coming from, you know. But we all have that experience though, because Super Soul can do anything, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, Mamaji?
Another thing I was thinking of, you mentioned about, being in Walmart and seeing all the people. At least my experience in Picayune is that people are still pious. I mean, they are Christians, most of them, and they are very pious. They say things like, "Have a blessed day," and
Yeah.
"God bless you, sweetheart."
I tell them, thank you for your blessings, and then that leads on into ancient, what used to be blessings and curses in previous ages.
Right.
You know, if you want to go there.
Right. And many of them have very strong tradition of several generations of church-going families,
Yeah.
My father was a pastor, my grandfather was a pastor, and, like that. So there are strong family values, traditions, and
Yeah.
culture still. Remnants of that is still, even though this is Kali Yuga, and even though this is the West, small places like this, there's a good chance for Krishna consciousness to pick up if they are, exposed a little bit and if they get more prasad or something. Then there is a chance that they may understand. But Srila Prabhupada also said at the same time, don't disturb them. If they're
Why can't they let
Christians
us...
and they're following their program, don't disturb them.
Yeah.
So-
No, yeah.
So,
If you drive them away, he says, it's your fault.
right, yeah.
So if we're always
Maybe
not
we should drive
tripping,
people away.
I'm just a servant. And Prabhupada says a good servant anticipates the needs of the master. So if I'm watching their eyes and seeing if I have their attention, if they're at all interested, that's really important. Or am I displeasing them? Are they looking away? Are they changing the subject? Then they're just not that interested, Just,
And just to say something favorable about Walmart, they've been doing service so long for the devotees. I mean, so many books have been distributed in those parking lots. So many books have been distributed inside the Walmart store. It's amazing. I mean, this facility is something that somehow or other Krishna has sent, because when it's raining, when it's hot, you just can go in there. One time I was there distributing books, and I saw these army gentlemen, they were walking, and they were actually doing their recruiting inside. They were talking to young kids.
oh, and the Walmart didn't know about it?
Yeah.
Ah.
So I followed them. I was distributing.
Was that our army or was that...
Another arm.
No, I was the Sankirtan army. I had the Gitas.
Okay.
So I kept following them, and I realized that they were recruiting young kids. So I approached them and I said, "Oh, I noticed you're recruiting people." And they said, yeah, like, a little nervous. I said, "Well, I'm going to recruit you." So I
Captive audience, what can you say,
So I gave them a Bhagavad Gita and explained that it was, a battle that happened 5,000. So they liked the idea of reading. So yeah, this Walmart, I'm telling you, I know that a lot of us are against, because it's a really bad business situation.
Well, they still haven't kicked me out, and I thought Picayune would have done it a long time ago. I've been preaching there for years now, and they still haven't kicked me out.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, Walmart is it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a great
Krishna Mart, I look forward to the future when I had a dream about it one time. It wasn't a coliseum. We were riding on the back in the future when there's nothing to do. You'd be lucky if there's even electricity. But we were riding through the neighborhoods, a pickup truck pulling a flatbed trailer. Devotees were on there like a hayride. And we were playing music and singing and chanting. And I don't know if we had megaphone. I didn't know because I don't know in the future whether we had it, but it was loud. And all the kids were running out of the houses and following us. There was nothing else to do in the future, when it's all, everything's, finished pretty much. Whatever, we know it's not going to be good. Almost all scriptures probably predict that it's not going to be good, whatever is coming,
And also Walmart allows, if we have a Food for Life program or any other thing, they allow us to do a cookie table or something.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
In LA, they have distributed so many cookies on
Will they
that.
let us do a book?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to check with them though.
Yeah.
you have to get the permit.
Maji, we used to do the cookies at DMVs, right, in LA, but also my favorite thing was like at the outdoor mall in Santa Monica. They shut us down, but we would ice down the navel oranges, and then we would cut them and make fresh juice with a big press, real easy. It was so much fun. I had so much fun. And people love that, they pay easy money for that. But then the business owners, they got it shut down, so.
Yeah, that's a living our concern.
Yeah.
For health purposes.
Well, glories to Srila Prabhupada, assembled devotees, glories to Shri Gauri the entire Prabhupada, glories to Sri Radha Krishna, Ki Jai, glories to Baby Damodar, Ki Jai.
Very preachy, Guru.
There was a couple